Hi, everyone. Welcome
So,
to episode number 2 of the Ring Rundown. I think that's what we're calling this. I haven't finished editing the first episode yet as of recording, so I don't
of
actually
course,
remember.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was running a little late for this one, but I had to plug my keyboard back in. I had to swap it out for the mic, but I had to plug it back in so that I could write my nickname for this recording
Oh yeah,
session.
you're so we don't have a video. Your nickname for this recording session is Hunter Liker.
Do you remember what it was last time?
I don't.
Oh, I don't have my notepad with me. I It was probably my usual Seth Rollins appreciator.
I think that's what it was, yeah.
Yeah.
We're back with another episode of Raw from 2009, The
We
Dark
absolutely
Ages.
are. Oh my god. We were talking about this a little bit yesterday before recording. We were talking about I recounted this to my roommates too, because they all saw me watching it and complaining about having to finish it. And I was like, yeah, I was talking to Frankie yesterday and mentioning how I was late to D&D because I was trying to finish our episode. And you said something like, "Yeah, I've been watching it during my lunch breaks at work and I've begun dreading lunch breaks." Like you did not want to
It's
finish it.
I had to break it up. Since I was watching it at work, I hand wrote my notes because I'm using a different laptop to record than what I have
I
at work.
I also handwrite all of my notes.
And so
Paper
I
lovers unite.
I used a legal pad and I have front and back of like the page, the flip that you flip. When I reached a full front and back, I would stop watching at lunch. So it took me 3 days to watch,
I
even
understand
though
why.
even though it's an hour and a half and I have an hour long lunch break, I could have watched it in 2 days. I took the time
And
to.
I completely understand because it dragged. Holy shit, did it drag?
What a rough episode. So this is July 6th, 2009. We are at the HP Pavilion in San Jose, California. And the guest host this week, which had already been revealed last week, so I feel fine revealing it now. $1 million man, Ted DiBiase.
Ted DiBiase.
Give you a little fun fact about $1 million man Ted DiBiase.
My man Ted? Yeah?
He's an ordained minister.
No way.
He has a little church, and him and this little church were caught up in the Mississippi welfare scandal very recently, where he
Oh my
received
god.
money taken from the anti-poverty program of Mississippi. Him, both of his sons, and NFL Hall of Famer Brett Favre.
Oh my god. I didn't know about this.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
that's
great.
fantastic. I was gonna say I actually really like his entrance theme. I think the little money, money, money is really cute, but it's extra funny that he also goes by that model in real life.
Yeah, he's decided to steal that for his real life. In fact, on his Wikipedia page, there's a whole section that's just called welfare fraud accusations.
If it's crossed to Wikipedia, that's how you know it's serious.
When it has its own section, because like sometimes you have like a famous person that says
Like
controversies.
controversies, yeah.
Yeah, this one has its own section.
That's how you know it's serious. Yeah,
More
absolutely.
than the ministry received more than $2.1 million in
Oh
welfare
my
funds
god.
after his son Brett, a different son than the one we have on the episode tonight, was hired as deputy administrator of the state's Department of Human Services. His
Good
son Brett
lord.
pled guilty to creating fraudulent statements.
I I was imagining like a couple hundred thousand. Over 2 million. That's
Over
a
two
oh my
million.
god.
In
Wow.
April 2022, the Mississippi Office of State Auditor reported that DiBiase personally received a $250,000
Oh my
check
god.
from the Family
Jesus
Resource Center
Christ.
to provide services as a motivational speaker. He forwarded
Ugh.
an email from the welfare grantee to his sons stating, "Look what I got today."
that that makes it 20 fucking times worse. Your incriminating fucking emails. 250. Dude, did you not make enough fucking around on stage in the squared circle? Huh?
No. So he's got three sons, Mike, Brett, and Ted Jr.
Ted, oh boy. No
Um,
offense to all of you juniors out there, because you didn't name yourselves most of the time, I assume. What kind of narcissist do you have to be to name your child your name Junior?
yeah, I know.
Freak behavior.
He I want to say has never he's a champion in almost everywhere he wrestled, but the only real tag or the only real championships he's ever won in WWE was the tag team titles. He's a three-time
Oh,
tag champion.
who is he with?
His tag partner was Erwin R. Shyster,
Mm.
IRS.
Oh my god. Little did he know.
I know. Yeah.
I I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I've ever seen either of them wrestle.
No, this is so Ted DiBiase, Million Dollar Man, Ted DiBiase is from the 80s. He's the
Which
Hulk Hogan era.
we've watched a couple episodes from the 80s, but not very many.
His big run was the late 80s, early 90s, and then he kind of faded away into like a managerial role.
Yeah, which
But
honestly, you know what? Aside from the robbing from the government and poor people, smart move. I feel like a lot more older wrestlers who really should not be wrestling but keep going anyway, I assume for the money, should take that path. It's
yeah,
the good path. And managers are fun. I mean, look at Paul Bearer. He's been fucking around forever. He's still making that cash.
well, he's dead now.
Well, yeah, but he was.
Yeah, he
You know what
was
I
for a
mean.
while. Yeah.
He
So
was still making that cash and he wasn't doing jack shit
yeah,
physically.
that's true. So Ted DiBiase is our well, they talk about the main event tonight, which is a number one contenders match, John Cena versus Triple H, and then
That
out
was a match.
comes the $1 million man, Ted DiBiase, with his $1 million belt.
I thought that was very cute. I actually really enjoyed that.
That was part of his character. He couldn't win the world title, so he created his own title that he
Oh,
bought and paid for.
I love that. That's cute. It's a nice
He,
character.
he brings out Ted Jr. and Cody with him.
Oh my god. My first note of the evening was, "Hi Cody, you have no idea how much you'll suffer." And I had a question for you immediately. So
Yeah.
please go ahead and finish your bit here. But I wrote down a question because he says something in this intro that I was like, I don't know. Maybe that's true for one of these guys, but
So the fans show money on the camera. They cut to the two fans in the front row showing money. One of them is like flashing $100 bill, and then the dude next to him is showing off a $1 bill.
that's how you get rich, baby.
Yeah.
$1 at a time, $1 bill.
Ted DiBiase says he's the guest host this week because he wrote a check, and he's here. He wants to remind everyone of the greatness of the legacy. Now he's been told there's a role for his night. He's not allowed to schedule any title defenses before Night of Champions, but he does schedule a match for Night of Champions.
He does.
Edge and Jericho will be defending their tag team titles against the Legacy.
Oh, I see what you've done here.
What have I done?
Because that's not the only match he schedules.
Well, no, he does this now. He moves on to what he's going to do on Raw.
Oh
So
yeah, I'm not saying he scheduled it at this point.
they're
But
talking to Cody, and Cody feels bad that Mark Henry beat Randy Orton last week, and he thinks Mark Henry should be punished. And Ted DiBiase agrees. So he says Mark Henry will face Cody Rhodes tonight. And Cody looks terrified.
he does.
Then Ted asks his dad, "What are you doing?" And Ted DiBiase Sr. says he saw a look in Ted's eyes at the bash, and that look said that Randy Orton is holding him down and using him. So Ted DiBiase Jr. will face Randy Orton tonight. And Ted DiBiase Jr. says, I don't want to face him. Don't do this. And Ted DiBiase Sr. says nothing and just leaves.
He does. He does. There's a point where he says something about it's something like being accompanied by to the best wrestlers, something like that. Do you remember this line?
Yeah. I don't know the exact line, but I know what you're talking about.
And I had a question immediately for you, which was, does Mini Ted still wrestle?
No, not anymore. He's been gone for a while.
I figured because I had no idea who he was. And I wrote LMAO, too best my ass.
They had big plans for the legacy.
I believe you.
He left WWE in 2013.
Long before you and I started watching together.
And then he wrestled on the independents here and there and stopped officially in 2020. He announced his retirement in 2020, but his last match was in 2017.
Good for him, honestly. He probably has plenty of money. Retire. Don't fuck up your body.
The Mississippi welfare funds that he stole.
That too, yeah.
He's facing a maximum penalty of 20 years in prison for each wire fraud count.
Oh my god.
Anyway.
The only other note I had for this segment was I really like Ted's voice. He has a really fun voice. I think a flaw that a lot of wrestlers, in my personal opinion, run into is they speak in a fairly normal voice. And like sometimes that works for their character, but the ones that I really enjoy, and I think the ones that tend to be, in my personal opinion and experience, tend to become more popular or well known and remembered, are ones that have a good voice for the character that they're playing. Like you hear Ted DiBiase and you know what he's about immediately.
Yeah.
This is a big reason why I like Mick Foley so much. You know what's going on with his characters by the way that he's talking.
Yeah, and the fact that Mick has like essentially 4 different characters, himself, and then Cactus, Mankind, and Dude Love, and they all sound different.
Totally different. And you know exactly who he's playing when you hear him speak.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe not to that, extent, but Ted's got that same, I don't know if that's how he talks normally, but I would be surprised if it was.
Outcome, as Ted is leaving, outcome, Edge and Jericho.
Looking pretty good, I gotta say.
They're facing the Clones in one final rematch. Even though it's not a title match, so like, who cares?
Right.
I guess maybe if they win, they could get a title match in the future, but like,
it's nebulous. It could mean nothing, or it could mean something.
We get a recap of last week's exact same match.
You're gonna go through it, but I have to say immediately, the match the week before was way better.
Yeah. So
all of these were very lackluster to me.
Edge and Carlito are going to start things off. Carlito takes control with a clothesline, goes for the cover. Edge kicks out at 1. Edge then takes control with a big boot. He covers, only gets a 2 count. Jericho tags in, hits a spinning elbow. That spinning elbow, which is like a transition move in this match, is now his finisher. So Edge comes back in, he hits a drop toe hold, an elbow to the back, pin. Carlito kicks out at 2. Jericho, as the illegal man, puts a boot in Carlito's face.
He does.
He then is tagged in and locks in a chin lock. And this is one of the things I love about Jericho. As he has just the chin lock, he's just yelling at Carlito to give up.
Yes. I love it when you can hear them doing their little bits.
You know who else? That
was one I definitely picked up on.
You know who does that a lot now? Who's great? I love it. Kevin Owens.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin Owens does this a lot now, and more wrestlers should do it.
And it can be a little bit tough because sometimes the on stage, for lack of a better word, mic doesn't pick it up and you can just see them saying something, but they're loud enough that you can actually hear them, which is nice.
Carlito gets out of the chin lock, hits a springboard reverse elbow, and both men are down. Edge is tagged in, so is Primo, and Primo comes in on fire, drop kicks to everyone, a Hurricane Rana into a springboard crossbody. He goes for the pin. Edge is out at 2. He goes for another springboard, but Edge shoves him, and he gets tied up in the ropes. As he gets out, Carlito's trying to help him, and Primo falls out, and Edge ends up knocking Carlito off of the apron. Carlito tries to get back in to get at Edge, and this distracts the referee. It allows Jericho to hit the code breaker, and Primo turns into a spear from Edge, and Edge and Jericho get the win.
I don't think anyone was surprised by this, which
No.
is a bit of a shame because I don't know much. I think I said this last time. I don't know that much about Primo, but I really like Carlito, and he's not bad.
And this is the end of Carlito and Primo as a team because Carlito immediately attacks Primo.
Yes, I think that was the most entertaining part of the entire match.
Uh, Shoves him into the ring post, out of the ring, then starts beating on him, throws him over the announce table. And as Carlito is leaving, as Primo lays there over like on the other side of the announce table where the announcers sit, a kid yells at Carlito, "Boo hoo hoo." That was
there were a
really
lot
good.
of there was a lot of great audience commentary in this one, I think.
Oh, by the way, commentators tonight, once again, it's still Michael Cole and the King, Jerry Lawler.
Funny, but I will have something to say about them in a minute.
Yeah, this is fuck. All right. Backstage, Cody asks Ted if he's going to fight Randy. Randy comes in and says, "Ted, losing to me won't accomplish anything." And then Ted DiBiase says his father was better than Randy's father, and he's going to actually beat Randy tonight. So that was the thing with the legacy. That's their whole gimmick, is that they're all sons of
Yeah.
wrestlers. There was another member of the legacy, by the way. I forget his name. He was very short lived in the legacy. He was there for like 2 weeks before the rest of them all turned on him and just beat the shit out of him.
Oh my god. I I had kind of mixed feelings on this segment because I felt like it was very funny, but not the way they wanted it to be.
No, definitely
It
not.
felt so stilted and incompetent when we've both seen plenty of great setups for fucking rivalries and shit like this, and I felt like I was watching a soap opera.
So
Worse than usual.
they meant it to be a very serious moment of like, oh, is the legacy about to break apart? But
It was not at all. Like it was
no.
not even close to serious.
After this, we go to commercial and we come back. We get our first "Did you know" fact. Which, if you haven't learned this from last week, their "Did you knows" are just them bragging.
They're all lies.
Did you know more than 6 times as many people watched Raw than baseball on ESPN last week? I like that they had to specify
On
specifically
ESPN.
baseball on ESPN.
I hope there was no baseball game on that week.
There was. They usually have Monday Night Baseball on in the summers. But
Mm,
but I love that they always like they're bragging about beating baseball when like everyone knows the real competition is Monday Night Football and they're never beating that.
yeah.
We learned last week that Mark Henry, Jack Swagger, and Evan Bourne had been traded over to Raw, but it was a 15-man trade with 5 going to each team. We learn now the next 2 that were traded over, Gail Kim and Alicia Fox, and they're going to be in a match
They are. I didn't
right
have many
now.
notes about this match. I
Uh,
had one in particular.
Gail Kim, or sorry, Maurice and Alicia Fox come out first. They're teaming up to face Mickey James and Gail Kim. Gail Kim, fabulous wrestler. You don't get to see it. You won't get to see it in this run in
No,
WWE. She
no.
is a legitimately fantastic wrestler. The wife of Chef Robert Irvine.
Oh, that's interesting. What a
Yeah,
great
they
fun fact.
They did like he does that show Restaurant Impossible and Kitchen
Oh,
Impossible,
really?
and
Oh, that's so funny.
one of the episodes of Kitchen Impossible is the wedding, him like cooking for the wedding and then getting married, and
No.
then yeah, it's very good, it's very fun.
Oh, that's really cute, actually.
And Alicia Fox, they keep referring to her as a wedding planner.
Yes, they do. And
So
oh my god, my only note for this match was they are so weird about the women. God damn.
so Alicia Fox was introduced legitimately as a wedding planner. I don't know if I don't think she's legitimately is a wedding planner, but so her character, she was introduced on SmackDown. The storyline was that Edge was going to marry Vicky Guerrero, who I'm sure you'll see at
Ugh.
some point. And Vicky Guerrero, who is in real life Eddie Guerrero's widow, was kept on by the company so they could like pay her and help out the Guerrero family. And she eventually became a GM character on SmackDown and one of the most like reviled heels in the
Ooh,
WWE.
that's
She
good.
she she gets a lot of like heat and she's very good at it.
I
But
always love that. I think those are my favorites most of
but
the time.
but Vicky at this point looks like a normal middle-aged woman, and
Yeah.
Edge is just coming off of a storyline where he was like dating Lita. Like Edge has been associated with these women who are seen as like super hot. And so everyone's wondering why he's dating Vicky Guerrero. It's because Vicky Guerrero
Mm.
is the GM and he's like dating her so he can have access to that power and get all
Ah.
these favors from the GM. And he's gonna marry her. And they have a wedding planner and it's Alicia Fox and he ends up like making out with Alicia Fox and it gets caught on camera and Triple H shows the video and ruins the wedding.
Oh my god. Oh, I didn't see any of this. This is fantastic
This is
context.
all before where we're at now.
I like this a little bit more with the context, but not by much.
But that's why they keep calling her a wedding planner
Okay, yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
they really haven't changed her character since then, and it's been a while since the storyline happened. Because like Triple H is clearly on Raw.
Yes.
Maurice and Mickey James are going to start the match. Maurice takes Mickey down almost immediately, and then immediately tags in Alicia, who is almost pinned. She gets hit with a big neck breaker, and Mickey then takes out Maurice while she's just standing there. She then hits a basement drop kick onto Alicia and tags in Gail Kim. Gail Kim hits a big running clothesline and a Frankensteiner. And I have a note: Gail Kim is so cool.
That's a great note.
Crossbody from Gail Kim, kick out at 2. Alicia then gets control just kind of by like shoving Gail Kim.
Yeah.
Just gave her a little shove.
A little push.
Maurice hits a big roundhouse kick to the head and then is tagged in. It's a backbreaker to Gail Kim, but then misses Gail on a rush in the corner. Maurice tags out. Oh, no, sorry. Maurice doesn't tag out. Maurice takes out Mickey before Gail Kim can tag her, which is a nice little bit of work there. I like
Mm-hmm.
when the heels do that. But then Gail hits her finishing move, which I fucking love her finisher. Eat defeat
Of course you would like
to
this
pin
move.
Maurice. It's a pun. It's a nice little pun.
Uh-huh.
It's also a really cool move where she like pulls her in and then falls. Like Gail falls and shoves her foot right into Maurice's face. Uh,
Disgusting.
and Gail Kim has pinned the Divas champion.
And it felt anticlimactic. And the word, that word, you know what I mean.
Anticlimactic.
Yes, it felt so
By the way, if you'd like,
blah.
I did find I forgot about this. The match times. So
Oh yeah,
Jericho and Edge versus Carlito and Primo was 5 minutes and 18 seconds bell to bell. This match 3 minutes and 24 seconds.
I was gonna guess 3 minutes. Yeah, yeah. It felt like they were just getting to the point where they were starting to build something, and then it was over, and she was walking out, and I was like, oh, I feel like I missed the whole thing.
Yeah, not a good match. All right,
It had potential, which is a shame.
we go backstage, and the $1 Million Man is getting a manicure. Cody comes in. Ted asks him if he wants a manicure, and Cody says no. And Ted goes, "That's fine. The lady's terrible anyway."
Yeah.
Cody says that Ted should have been in control all along of Raw. And he's come back to bribe Ted DiBiase to not face Mark Henry. It's not enough money for Ted. He laughs at it. Then Cody then starts singing his dad's theme. That when he starts going, "It's just the common man." That's Dusty Rhodes' theme when he was in WWE.
I liked the what was going on with the last segment where it was like pathetically funny
Yeah.
trying to be serious. This one, I found it pathetically funny, but in a much more genuine way.
Yeah. And so
I actually enjoyed this one.
Cody's trying to be like, "You're the $1 Million Man. I'm the son of the common man. We can work
get
together."
along, you know.
Ted says, "I despise Dusty. That fat, bloated, gyrating fool is in the Hall of Fame, and I'm not, and that annoys me."
He was so fucking mad about not being in the Hall of Fame.
So yeah, right, Ted DiBiase is now a Hall of Famer. But he
Vince
wasn't at
watched a
this point.
segment. He
Yeah,
watched a segment.
Vince
And
watched
he
the
took pity
segment
on him.
and realized, oh, maybe I forgot.
I forgot it. I forgot about him. Fuck.
So they do. He is in the Hall of Fame, but he wasn't at this point in time. So it's very funny. And Dusty was in the Hall of Fame, and it's very funny too because Dusty is way more known for the things he did outside of WWE.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Where Ted is known as the $1 Million Man and what he did.
I wonder why there was a bit of a bias there.
Dusty's just more popular.
Yes, that was a joke.
Dusty's just better.
Yeah. I'm biased, but like, yeah.
But he would be inducted that year, by the way. So he's in the Hall of Fame class of 2010. So like this is July of 2009. He gets inducted at the next WrestleMania. Ted.
Oh well, I mean, good for him, I guess. But like,
he's
the jealousy.
He's the headliner of the class, by the way.
Interesting, huh? All right. Most hood aboard. No, I'm just kidding.
To be fair, he's not the best headliner they had. If we're looking at the previous years of headliners,
yeah,
2000 when they brought the Hall of Fame back in 2004, I want to say was the first Hall of Fame they had in a while. That one was just a bunch of people because they had just brought it back. So that one doesn't really have a headliner. But 2005, Hulk Hogan.
Yep.
2006, Bret Hart. 07, Dusty Rhodes.
These are people that you know even if you don't know wrestling.
Or
at least some people do.
08, Ric Flair.
Yeah.
2009, Stone Cold. 2010, the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase.
Which, like, okay, if you know wrestling at all, you know him, but the rest of these are like normal people know who they are on occasion.
And then we move in 2011, Shawn. 2010 or 2012, Edge. 2013, Mick Foley.
Yeah.
He's got to be the weakest headliner.
He's got to be because not even, like I say this about, if you watch wrestling, you know who he is. Sure. This is also true among the later people, but, and again, I'm biased because I like those eras of wrestling a lot more, but
every other headliner is a former world champion.
Yeah, they're big names, and he's a known name, but he ain't no champion.
He's not. Ted says that if Cody doesn't face Mark Henry tonight, he's gonna put him in polka dots, just like his dad.
Yeah, I thought the polka dots line was funny as fuck. That was great. I wrote that down because I thought it was great.
We go to break now. And we get the slam of the week presented by AutoZone, which is the Raw debut of Mark Henry defeating Randy Orton, which
Yeah.
brings us to Cody Rhodes versus Mark Henry.
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes comes out and clearly would like to be anywhere else in the world.
Yes. I really like that. He was doing some good acting there.
Yes. Mark Henry comes out and he is quickly in control when the match starts.
Yes.
He gets the legs up in the corner and it stuns Mark Henry for a bit. He climbs up, he dives, he's caught in midair. He's hit with a world's strongest slam almost immediately, but Cody rolls out of the ring and just leaves.
Yeah, I love that.
And then we go backstage and Cena is shadowboxing and kisses his dog tag and walks away to presumably just stand around in the corner for another 40 minutes because his
He
match is the main event and there's still two more matches left.
he's going to jerk off pretending to be a military man.
Yeah, I guess so. Like that was such a weird thing that they
I
show him
forgot
so
about it
early.
until you said it because it was so bizarre.
Yeah, I get that they're hyping up the main event, but like
What
it's
does that
still a
have to
while.
do? What does that have to do with building the story of the main event either, other than, oh, it's John Cena, I know that guy.
Yeah. So we get the injury ad showing everyone getting hurt.
I saw that and I laughed my ass off.
And they're all like, I tore my bicep completely off the bone. My pectoral muscle popped off completely. And then they're all like,
I
don't do
I
this at home.
died to a spear.
Yeah, don't do this at home, kids. And then we get the champ Randy Orton making his way out, where I then made the note, this is the second week of the guest hosts.
Mm.
And we're 2 for 2 for the guest host, just kind of bullying Randy Orton.
Honestly, he's funny when he's getting bullied, so get after old Snake Eyes, baby.
Ted, tonight's episode of Raw brought to you by AutoZone and Just for Men.
Get in the zone,
And
auto men.
the announcers say that Randy Orton's gonna need Just for Men after all the stress he's under because of his gray hair. He has
Yeah.
no hair. He's almost bald at this point in his career.
That's why he's shaving it all off, Frankie.
Okay. Ted comes out next to the legacy music because he's part of a tag team. He doesn't have his own theme. Randy is quick to take control with a side headlock, and at this point, I noticed Ted's ass says priceless.
Yes. Oh, and that realization is priceless.
Orton goads Ted DiBiase into hitting him, and he gains control. Ted gains control, sends Orton out of the ring, and hits a baseball slide drop kick. And we go to break with Ted in control. We're back from the ad break, and Randy Orton is in control of the match. They show us what happened in commercial break. He threw Ted DiBiase into the steel steps.
He did do that.
Orton starts to go for his patented Garvin stomps, which is where he stomps on like the shoulder and then the ankle, both ankles, and then he goes around to the other shoulder, and then he stomps on the chest.
It's something.
He then goes to finish it up with a jumping knee to the head, but Ted DiBiase rolls out of the way. But before he can capitalize, he's hit with a big forearm by Randy. He hits his signature Hangman's DDT, and as he's doing it, he says he didn't want to do this to him.
I loved that. That was the only like strong moment for me because it was very entertaining.
Ted
Very funny.
DiBiase kicks out of 2 pin attempts in a row. But Orton hits the mounted punches. He then goes for the jumping knee again. This time it connects, but we get another kick out by Ted. He gets some separation with a back suplex and then a jumping clothesline to take down Orton. Orton hits a backbreaker and then slithers into RKO position.
Yeah.
But Ted
Slither.
counters. He counters the RKO into a pin, then hits a big scoop slam. Orton kicks out of both. He then goes for his finisher, Dream Street, but Orton counters that, and as Ted gets up, he walks right into an RKO for the win for Randy.
Surprise.
Yeah, surprise, surprise, your WWE champion beat someone who isn't on his level.
Yeah.
Randy gives him maybe a little nod of respect, but they cut to Ted and he's trying to look pissed, but he's not doing a good job of it. He's like that meme. You know the meme of that kid in the classroom where he's like with a vein popping out of his head, his whole body is
Yes.
shaking? That's what Ted
Yeah.
DiBiase looks like, trying to look angry.
Oh, you're absolutely right.
It doesn't help that he also just wrestled a match, so his face is all red.
And so it just looks fake. It's really funny.
God, it was fucking hilarious. I almost choked on my drink at work while I watched that. So then, Josh Matthews is interviewing Triple H backstage. He says he doesn't care who he has to hurt to get what he wants, but he's going to become number one contender and face Randy Orton for the WWE title.
He says it in a really dramatic way. So my note here says, I hope Hunter kills him.
Oh my God. Yeah, he's going to go kill John Cena.
Yeah. It would save us a lot of grief.
So then we come back and we are at MVP's VIP lounge.
I'm gonna front load this with this was my favorite part of the episode.
It's your
far.
It's your first wrestler talk show.
It is. It is. And while I have generally liked some of the other ones in the past. Kevin Owens does his every once in a while, right?
Oh, the KO show.
The KO show, yeah. I think that's the only other one that I remember distinctly.
Maybe Miz TV.
Maybe I've seen a Miz TV or two, but this is what was my first time seeing this one, and it was the first one chronologically that I've seen. Really funny, pretty great. I liked it a lot. I was paying very close attention for this bit.
At MVP's VIP lounge, we learned that there are big things popping, little things stopping.
I loved the entry speech. I loved it so much. It was really funny.
And our guest tonight on the VIP lounge is the All-American American, one of the newest 5 Raw superstars, Jack Swagger.
I don't know who he is. Does he do anything now?
Jack Swagger is I don't know. I think he's still with the company. He wrestles under his real name, Jake Hager, in AEW.
Interesting. Yeah,
He was
I have no idea who he is.
He was part of Jericho's group, the Inner Circle, and the Jericho Appreciation Society. He was like the muscle of the group.
Okay, which I'm like, I'm aware of it because it had Jericho in it, but I don't know any of the other people. I don't think.
Would you be shocked to learn that man that you're looking at, Jack Swagger, future world heavyweight champion in WWE? It's a short bad run, but yeah, he is future.
I am surprised because he's a fucking charisma black hole.
Yeah, he is a future world champ.
I feel like I definitely feel like MVP was carrying the entire segment. Like the crowd loved him, and I feel like the only reason they were so negative on fucking Jack goddamn Swagger was that they liked MVP so much. He didn't have the kind of bite that a good villain has.
To be fair, he is at this point technically a former world champion. He did win the ECW title, but like that's the WWE ECW title is not a real world title. So like
right.
No one gives a shit. The original version of the ECW title I count as a real world title, but like some people don't, but like this one is definitely not. My favorite thing about the VIP lounge is that because it's in a wrestling ring, right? Yeah. It has a ton of entry points, but there is a bouncer at the end of the ramp.
Yes, there is. Oh, I love that.
So MVP wants to ask Jack Swagger what it felt like to debut on Raw, and before he can finish his question, Jack starts to interrupt him, but MVP says, "Hey, I want to finish the question." And he says, "I want to know what it felt like to debut on Raw and expose yourself as a fraud."
Ooh. Get him.
Jack Swagger says, "I went to the University of Oklahoma. Yes. Do you know what that means?" And MVP says, that means you
You
couldn't get
couldn't get
into a
into a
better
better
school.
school. That killed me. I had to like pause and laugh out loud.
So Jack Swagger then says, "You spent time at Florida State, but not the university,"
He did. He did say that.
referencing the Florida State penitentiary, which is true.
Really? I figured it probably was. But that makes what's going on in this conversation so much worse, and I hate Mr. Swagger this much more.
MVP brings it up a lot in his career, but he spent his father he joined a gang when he was 12.
Mm.
He's talked about this a lot. And he spent 6 months in juvenile detention, and then he later at 16 did 9.5 years of an 18
Yeah.
and a half year prison sentence for armed robbery and kidnapping.
I was gonna say, I think he didn't he say he did 10 years in this bit?
Yeah,
Which like and then we're gonna go on in the conversation, and all our friend Mr. Swagger here is doing is making fun of ex-cons. Don't do that. How fucking rude of you.
no.
This man's turned his
Oh,
life around. Fuck you.
yeah. So MVP says, "Yeah, I've made mistakes," and he owns that, and he served his time, and now he tries to do better.
Good for him.
The differences between the two is that Jack Swagger didn't go to prison, and that MVP's not afraid of a fight.
Yeah.
They have a
Yeah,
stare down,
yeah. Which
intense stare down.
I wish I could say homoerotic as shit, but I watched it and they was just looking at each other. It was boring.
They were
Come on.
just looking at each other.
They were a little too close for it to be normal, but nah, get gayer.
But so they have the stare down. Jack Swagger backs away and says he doesn't fight criminals
He just fucking
and
fails.
leaves.
He just leaves. He just leaves. And if
Uh,
you don't like it, hit the bricks.
yep. So we go backstage.
Whoa, oh wait, hold on. I'm gonna add
Okay.
here because MVP says some stuff as we're transitioning out of this. And I wrote, I think this is the first. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is the first time I've seen MVP.
No, he had the match with Triple H last week.
Oh yeah, okay. This is the first like extended talking segment that I've seen with him though. It's the first real good glimpse of his character.
That's true.
And I wrote, I love MVP actually. Baller.
He is.
He is. I like him. He's fun. Now we can go
So
backstage.
So we go backstage, and Ted DiBiase and Senior and Junior are there. Senior
Yeah.
says that Junior will be champ one day, and Junior says that he was set up to fail, and
It's
it's
like
his time.
consoling him. It's so silly.
It's
It
his
feels so
time,
insincere.
not his dad's time. His dad keeps trying to make it about him, but it's not about him any longer. And he hits him with a huge slap and leaves. And they like really zoom in on the $1 million man, and he's really trying to cry. He's
He is
really
trying so
trying
hard.
to bring that tear out, and he
It
cannot
is
do
not
it.
working. They needed to splash a little water on his face beforehand. Give him a little cayenne pepper, a little sliced onion to keep in his pocket.
So then we have the Just for Men rewind,
Oh my
which is the
god.
shitty Kofi Kingston versus Big Show match from last week.
Kofi deserves so much, but they both deserve better than that.
Kofi is on his way out now, and it seems like he's facing Evan Bourne.
Buddies. Mm-hmm.
Uh,
This was my least favorite.
Clash of future WWE Tag Team Champions Air Boom, Evan Bourne and Kofi Kingston.
I'm gonna. This one put me in pain, Frankie.
Yeah, I know. But
It put me in
they
severe because I love Kofi and I like the Big Show also, but like, God, they are not people. They're not wrestlers that work well off of each other. And what they were given here just sucks.
I think
sucks.
they could be great
They could be
in a
great.
match, if they were allowed to actually do what they are good at, but they are not.
Yes, but they're not allowed to do the things that they really, really shine at because neither of them are bad. Neither of them are bad. They just the strengths that they have, they're not allowed to play them off of each other for whatever reason. I don't get it. I can imagine in my head a much better and more entertaining match than they actually have, because obviously Big Show's very large and he's got the very physical power.
Oh,
But
you're talking about
Kofi,
Big Show. I was talking about Kofi and Evan Bourne. No,
oh no,
Big Show can struggle to have a good match at this point
I
in his
I
career.
believe I've seen him be perfectly fine though. He's been passable.
This is one of the bad points, in my opinion, of Big Show's career. Big Show has like ups and downs when he really
Yeah.
cares about being in shape and like putting in a good match. This is not one of those times he cares.
But I know that he can, right? I know that he can, and I can see in my mind a match where they work really well together, because you could really play with that size difference, since Kofi's much more agile, but the Big Show has the physical power. You could do so much fun stuff with that, and they don't. They don't. They just don't. It's such a disappointment. I can see this being so much better.
Well, Jarek or Big Show is gonna have a trying to look at the schedule here that we've set up for our recordings. Our next episode is a Raw episode. We're gonna have two more Raw episodes before Big Show's gonna have a massive change in
Okay.
direction. So
Oh, I feel like I know what the change is.
I think I've told you what the change is,
Yes,
yeah.
I think I know.
But yeah, so
Anyway,
we have a couple
sorry.
episodes. So Evan Bourne starts the match off with a quick series of pin combinations. They exchange a few between them, Kofi and Evan, and they're moving fast to start. And I thought, oh, we're gonna have a good match, and then they slow
No.
it down.
And that's the thing. That's the thing. It's funny that you'd mention that, because I feel like I blinked and looked away for 2 seconds and suddenly the match was over.
Yeah, so Kofi hits a springboard crossbody, followed up by a big drop kick, but Bourne catches. I, 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 so Kofi throws Evan Bourne into the corner, and I think, well, he was going for one of those big splashes in the corner, and I think Evan Bourne was supposed to get his legs up, but he didn't get it
Mm,
up in time. So like, they kind of just like bumped heads,
yeah.
and Kofi got sent down, and then Evan Bourne gets up and he hits airborne for the win, which is his shooting star press is beautiful. That's the official name for the move,
Oh, yeah, okay.
or like the generic name. His is called airborne, but like it's a
Cute.
beautiful move.
Yeah, sure.
And he does it great. There's another wrestler named Billy Kidman who also did the shooting star press, and every time he did the shooting star press, it looked like he was gonna break his neck,
Oh God.
or he was gonna break the other person's arm or something.
Oh,
His is just like the worst landing. Evan Bourne hits it perfectly, like every time.
oh, that's the kind of stuff that gets to me.
So
Neck stuff. Don't risk your neck.
Evan Bourne gets the win. He helps Kofi up, shows him a bit of respect, but out comes the Big Show.
Yeah, to fuck him up.
He takes out Kofi Kingston, and Evan Bourne tries to help out, but he is literally just like swatted away like a fucking fly.
Yes, which was really funny.
Evan Bourne keeps trying to help, but he keeps getting tossed around, and then he finally gets taken out with a
Like a
big
rag doll.
spear. And then Big Show just keeps beating on Kofi. He locks in a camel clutch, and Kofi passes out from the pain, and Big Show leaves. I believe that Michael Cole just calls it the camel clutch. I believe that Big Show called it the colossal clutch.
Oh, that's really good. That's
I'm
really
right. I'm
good.
right. I'm right. It is called the colossal clutch.
That's fucking fantastic.
So we all know who did the camel clutch. We all know
Oh
who's the
yeah.
famous man
I
for doing the camel
yes.
clutch.
I'm 99.999% sure I am aware who did that, and he's
Yeah.
gonna fuck my ass.
Yeah, Shiki Baby did it. And now Big Show's doing his version called the Colossal Clutch. To be fair, like I don't know if the regular camel clutch, the way Sheik did it was painful or not.
Mm-hmm.
Big Show doing it though, of course it's painful. It's like a
Yeah,
500-pound man just sitting on you.
it definitely looks like it might. Yeah.
So we go to
You're gonna struggle
commercial.
to breathe at least.
We go to commercial here, and we get our final Did You Know fact. WWE TV can be seen in 465 million homes worldwide, more than the NBA, MLB, and NFL combined. Here's the thing. I believe that fact because it's
Oh,
so fucking couched in the fact that it can be seen. It's not being seen by 465 million people, but if they all decided to watch it,
they
they
could.
could.
I like that. Yeah.
It's a really
I did not catch that slippery little wording there,
it's
but
a
you're right.
really it's a really couched fact. It can be seen. You're right. I guess you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Because the NFL and MLB aren't as popular outside of the US. I guess baseball is more popular in like Japan and
Sure,
Korea,
yeah.
and basketball is huge in Europe.
But
But the NFL isn't that popular. So yeah, I believe that number is correct because wrestling is huge worldwide. But like the fact that it can be seen does not mean it is being
and
seen.
now. Okay, I said before it was the worst bit, but I lied.
Yeah.
No, 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 because at least I was getting some chuckles out of which I mean that's not really what I'm watching wrestling for all most of the time, but at least I was getting some chuckles out of some of the other areas here. Oh my god. Does this shit drag from now
Well,
on?
I mean, before we get to the match, we have a special little segment.
Oh, we
They
do,
show us
yes.
John Cena making an appearance for the release of the DVD version of 12 Rounds,
I
the John Cena film.
I misheard that the first time and I was like, John Cena wasn't in that. And then I realized they were talking about some inferior film that I'd never heard of.
So 12 Rounds, I've watched this movie
Oh
years
my
ago as a
god,
kid.
you
I
have.
watched it. It's so bad. It's about so John Cena plays a plays a cop
Of course.
who prevents a thief from stealing like completing his heist. But the thief's girlfriend is accidentally killed in the process.
Ooh.
So the guy breaks out of prison, kidnaps John Cena's fiance, and John Cena has to navigate his way through an elaborate series of tasks and puzzles, or else watch his fiance die. It's it's
This is
basically propaganda Saw.
I was gonna say this is like Saw meets Baby Driver.
It's so fucking funny.
This is so stupid. I kind of want to see it now.
I was gonna ask, you want to do a bonus episode of our bonus series, which is us watching.
I would be so into that. Actually, we
Here's
should
the
do that.
cast. Here's the cast. John Cena, Aiden Gillen. His film roles include CIA operative Bill Wilson in The Dark
Oh
Knight
my
Rises.
god.
That's what they're grabbing from.
Oh.
Let's see. Ashley Scott is the love interest,
Uh huh.
best known for being a voice actor in The Last of Us.
Oh my. Okay.
So not even
Not
Brian
even
J. White. Yeah, you haven't heard of him,
known
have
for.
you?
No.
Known for 12 rounds. That's like
Fuck
listed
me.
there. Taylor Cole.
Okay.
She doesn't even have. They don't even list what she's known for in her Wikipedia
Oh.
page. Steve Harris,
Uh huh.
Vincent Flood. He doesn't have a Wikipedia page. Gonzalo Menendez, Travis Davis, Kyle Clements, Billy Slaughter, and Peter Navy Tuiasosopo, Tuiasopo, so I can't pronounce it.
I I'm guessing that none of these are people that have been in anything else.
Yeah, most of them are like little bit actors. Surprisingly, mostly negative reviews.
Well, I never could have guessed. What this is a fascinating concept.
It's got a 38% on Metacritic,
Oh Lord.
a 30% on Rotten Tomatoes. Audience on Cinema Score gave it a B minus. So that's
Well, I mean that could be worse. It's all the John Cena fans.
yeah. It did make its money back. It had a budget of 6.7 million and it got 17.3 million in theaters.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's not that bad of a return,
can you
honestly.
believe this movie was released in theaters?
It was I my mind skipped past that. I'm sorry, it was in theaters.
Yeah, so this is before WWE films were all just like straight to DVD.
Oh,
There is a
Frankie, I got a real question for you now.
yeah.
Better or worse than Argyle?
I haven't seen Argyle yet.
Oh, you what? What? I thought you. Oh, I thought you'd seen it by now.
No, there is a sequel to this film, by the way. 12
No.
Rounds 2 Reloaded with Randy Orton,
Oh my god.
but he's a different character. He doesn't play the same guy, and he's also not a cop. He's a paramedic.
Okay. What's the?
I think there's a third one. Yeah, there is. They made a third one, 12 Rounds 3 Lockdown. Take a guess at which wrestler is the star of this. He's a wrestler you know.
Oh, give me a hint.
He's one of the Shield boys.
No.
Which
No.
one do you think?
Don't tell me. Don't say it.
It's Dean Ambrose.
Oh, thank God. Oh, thank the Lord.
Yeah, I know. You were hoping it wasn't Seth.
Yeah, I was like, how? Oh no, not my beloved.
Yeah, it's Dean Ambrose. They haven't made a movie since 2021, which was an animated film, so it's not even like
Yeah,
as
that
good
doesn't
as
really
there.
count, right?
Yeah, but so it's been a while. It's been a while since they made a movie.
I'd like it if they made more shitty films. I'd go see them.
Let's get so after that they then cut to
Can we
Josh.
skip it? We could just skip it.
They cut to Josh Matthews with John Cena, and he says that this is two of the biggest forces facing off. Oh yeah, by the way, Cena is smiling the entire fucking like at the beginning with his fucking dorky ass smile.
He is.
He says all bets are off, and tonight is like a WrestleMania.
Yeah,
Which, to be fair, he's right. This is a former WrestleMania main event.
I hope it was better.
No.
Oh goddamn.
Triple H just loves boring matches.
Yeah, I guess he does.
He says two of the biggest forces will lock horns, and one will have the chance to hold the gold and diamonds. And it has been too long since he could say the champ is here. And now it's time for our main event.
Please God, I know you're gonna go through it beat by beat, but fuck me.
It's a bad match.
It is worse than bad.
It's boring.
It's worse than bad. It is there's a point, and I'm just gonna cut ahead. There's a point where I don't remember who it was, or I didn't write who it was. One of the commentators says something about them going back and forth, and I wrote, "Talk about back and forth." Sigh with an underline.
I kept checking how much time was left.
Yeah, I was
this
making
one
dinner at the time, and I was like, "Wow, I hope my timer goes off."
So Triple H comes out first. We go to an ad, and then Cena makes his way out. They have a stare down to start the match. They both back away. They lock up, and then they do the exact same thing.
They just don't stop locking up and doing nothing for the entire match.
Triple H exchanges some punches with John. They both hit some of their signatures with like a knee to the face and the you can't see me punch, whatever. Triple H gets thrown out over the corner, out of the ring. He like flies over the corner, out of the ring. Cena goes for the AA, but Triple H shoves Cena into the ring post, and we go to break. Nothing happened.
You can't see me rolling. Get it? You can't see me. You can't see me rolling my eyes and shaking my head, but that's what I'm doing.
So we're back in the ring when we come back. Triple H is in control with a hard throw into the buckle, taking Cena down. He reverses the Irish whip and hits a hip toss to gain control. But then he takes an elbow to the face, and Triple H hits a series of backbreakers, followed up with a vertical suplex and a big elbow drop. So his strategy is to work the back. Cena starts to fight back with some punches, but he's stopped with a knee to the gut. And then Cena starts the 5 moves of doom.
Ooh, spooky.
He hits the shoulder tackle. He hits the second shoulder tackle. He hits the back suplex. He hits the 5 knuckle shuffle.
I do like that name, I will say.
That's a term for masturbation.
Yeah, I know.
Which is really weird because so Cena, his finisher is he has 2 finishers, the attitude adjustment and the STF, which is his submission.
Yeah, yeah.
The attitude adjustment used to be called the STF, or it used to be called just the FU.
Mm-hmm.
And the submission used to be called the STFU. And
They
when
gotta
they
be
went
family friendly,
well,
baby.
when they went PG, they changed those, so they never changed the 5 knuckle shuffle.
Kids aren't gonna know what that means.
That's true. Most adults, to be fair, are probably not going to know what the 5 knuckle shuffle
Probably not.
means.
You gotta
So
think about
if someone asked them what it meant, they wouldn't know. But if a kid goes up to their parents and goes, "Hey, mom, what's FU?"
it. They'll know.
He goes for the attitude adjustment, but Triple H counters it and gains control with a big knee to the face, followed up by a clothesline. He then hits that big AA spine buster to Cena. He goes for the pedigree. Cena powers out with a backdrop, but Triple H locks in a sleeper, and man, I'm asleep.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're about to get to the point where I could feel my eyelids closing too.
There's a point, I think we'll see it. I'm not sure, where Dolph Ziggler starts using the sleeper hold as a finisher.
Uh,
But the way Dolph Ziggler does it when he starts using the sleeper hold as a finisher is like he's using it against guys because Dolph Ziggler, like he's muscular, but he's a
yeah,
lot smaller than most other
he's a
wrestlers.
littler guy. Yeah.
So he's using it on big guys, like the Great Khali is one of the
Okay.
matches I remember, and he like Great Khali's like 7 feet tall, so he like jumps onto him and locks it, and he's like struggling to get it and shaking and like moving around the whole time to like
I
sell
can
it,
see that working.
and it looks so much cooler. And then you have this one, and they're just like
They're
holding
just
on,
hugging.
they're just hugging each other. Cena's fading, he gets back up, powers out, and then to save us all, what does John Cena do?
The same
Locks
goddamn
in,
thing.
he logs in his own sleeper hold, and I'm like, oh
Oh
no.
my god. I saw this first sleeper start and I was like, fuck me. I'm not watching this shit. I'm going to scribble my notes. This sucks. Stop it. I don't care about your slow holds is what I wrote. And then Cena was powering out and I was like, okay, the match is going to pick up now. And then he fucking turned it around into another sleeper. And they're talking about how the game is fading. And I was like, yeah, I'm fading. My fucking attention is fading. I don't give a shit about this. It's so boring. I'm watching paint dry. There's nothing happening.
Yeah, so Triple H is fading, but he powers out and hits a back suplex, and they're both down. Cena gets up first. They exchange big haymakers with each other, and you can tell what era of wrestling we are in because Cena is getting heavily booed with each punch he connects with.
Yeah.
I've given a name to that weird facebuster Cena does. I don't know if this is the official name, but I'm calling it this, so we all know what it is.
Mm.
He hits the leapfrog facebuster.
I like that. That's great.
He goes up top for the leg drop, but Triple H steps away. Well, steps away makes it sound better than it is. He kind of just like rushes out of the way, I guess.
Yeah.
Steps away makes it sound like he did the thing that Samoa Joe always does, when someone dives at him when he's standing, where he just like coolly walks away and lets the guy fall.
Yes.
Triple H looks fucking stupid doing it, so he goes for a pedigree. Cena hits a jackknife cover. Triple H kicks out. Cena goes for the attitude adjustment. Triple H rolls him up. He kicks out. Drop toe hold for Cena or onto Triple H. Cena's fighting for. He gets the STF, but Triple H grabs the bottom rope. Cena pulls him off of the rope, and as he's trying to lock the STF in again, Triple H rolls him up for 2. He goes for the pedigree. Triple H goes for the pedigree, but it's countered into a slingshot into the corner. Cena goes for another attitude adjustment. Triple H escapes. There's a double clothesline. It lays them both out. And as they're getting up, the real heroes of Monday Night Raw
Cutting
in.
a shit fucking short, thank God.
The Legacy run out and beat down Cena and Triple H.
I didn't particularly like this because, it was a little boring, but I was grateful that they ended this snooze fest before it went full-fledged.
So Lillian goes to announce the result of the match, but Randy stops her and says, I'll say the result. It's a double DQ. So I'll face, they're both losers. Or he says no one won. So I'm facing nobody at Night of Champions.
I actually kind of liked this bit.
And then Ted DiBiase comes out and says, well, from my perspective, neither one of them lost. So at Night of Champions, it'll be a triple threat match. Randy Orton versus Triple H versus John Cena. You like the bit. I hated it.
I thought it was funny. It's stupid, but I thought it was kind of funny.
It is funny the first couple times you see it, but man, every single time this happens, there's like a multi-man match or a number one contenders match, and then the heel champion's like, well, if I just fucking beat the shit out of all of them, there won't be a number one contender. And then the authority figure comes out and goes, yeah, no one won, but no one lost either. So they're all going to face you. They literally just did this at the Royal Rumble.
That's true. Yeah, they did.
With LA Knight, AJ Styles, Randy Orton, and Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
So we end Raw with
I liked it here because it felt kind of petty and rude.
Did. It felt petty because it was the $1 Million Man doing it.
Yeah. Am I looking forward to the triple threat match? No.
At this point in time, 3 of the most boring fucking wrestlers.
Yeah.
Cena will have good matches later on, and Randy can have good matches. Man, Triple H rarely has a fucking good match. His matches fucking suck. God.
When they're good, they're really good, but most of the time they're very boring.
So we end this Raw. Unlike last week, we know nothing for next week's Raw.
Yes.
No matches.
I don't look ahead, so I have no idea who it's going to be.
We don't know who the Raw GM is, and we don't know what any of the matches are for next week.
I will not be looking ahead. I am excited to find out what my surprises are.
I think I know. I won't tell you. I think I know who the guest host is. I'm not 100% sure, but I don't know what any of the matches are next week. So,
if you were to guess, do you think I should be looking forward to the next guest host or not?
I think it's, if I can remember correctly, if I'm remembering correctly who the guest host is and what the main event ends up being, I think you're gonna really enjoy the guest host and the main event. But man,
nothing else.
Man, oh man, there's some shit at the beginning, if I'm correct, that you are not gonna enjoy, and some shit in the middle you might not enjoy.
Okay, all right. I'm excited for this then.
If I'm remembering correctly, yikes.
Okay, all right.
So, before we end the episode, we got some business to take care of. How does the $1 Million Man stack up against Batista as a guest host? Worse.
Why? Both of them were Batista was better, but both were fairly entertaining as hosts. But it while I didn't love the way Batista ran it, it was way more interesting. At least he had some kind of fun gimmick that he was going for, you know.
That's true.
At least there was something going on. It felt like you could have replaced my man Ted with literally anyone else. It was so lacking in personality, which is probably what I'd be looking to get out of a guest host. Like, all right, I want the show to feel like it's yours for the week, and you could have replaced him with anybody else, and I wouldn't have known the difference. Other than I wouldn't have been hearing money, money, money.
No. And I do like in his theme song, he yells, "Everybody's got a price. Everybody's gonna
Yeah.
pay."
I
So,
don't definitely Batista's at the top right now.
all right, all right. Match of the night and MVP. It's very difficult tonight.
Match of the night. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
I
actually, while we were discussing this, I changed my match of the night.
really
Oh
okay.
no, I changed my MVP. I changed my MVP.
I know who my MVP of the night is going to be. Match of the night, though. Do I have to pick? I mean,
My match of the night is Randy Orton versus Ted.
that's what I'm kind of leaning towards. I want to say the women, but it was too short for anything interesting to happen. So I think I'm going to have to agree with you because it at least held my attention a little bit, and there were some entertaining
Oh, by the
moments.
way, I forgot to give you match times for the rest of the matches tonight. So Mark
Oh yeah,
Henry and
yeah,
Cody Rhodes doesn't really count. I'm not going to give the match time. It was more of a segment than a match.
yes.
Um, Randy Orton versus Ted was 10 minutes and 47 seconds. It wasn't like a spectacular match, but like
It
the
was
ending
better than any of the other stuff on display here.
the ending sequence was pretty good.
Yes, I liked the ending sequence.
And then Evan Bourne versus Kofi was 3 minutes and 6 seconds.
Oh, no wonder I blinked and it was gone.
And John Cena versus Triple H was 18 minutes and 33 seconds
And
of
goddamn, did I
nothing.
feel every goddamn second. It
And
hurt.
they did nothing in those 18 minutes.
Yeah,
They had 18
nothing.
minutes and they did absolutely nothing. Nothing
I have
exciting.
I have my MVP. I will not be changing it. Do you want to reveal yours first? Or do you want
Uh
me to go?
my original MVP, I'll reveal who my original one was. My original
Please.
MVP was the $1 Million Man.
Really? Okay.
I've since changed it to as a whole the Legacy.
Okay. All right.
Uh
Yeah, I can
because
understand that.
because the Legacy saved me from having to watch a 20-minute match.
Yes. Yeah. I can support you in that. Absolutely.
So who is your MVP?
MVP.
Ah, that's good. Yeah, I
Yeah.
MVP segment was pretty good. I forgot about that when I was considering MVP.
It was the best part because not only did he get like some genuine laughs out of me, but I felt like I understood both of their characters, what was going on, and even though they didn't actually have a real match or any sort of match at all, it was interesting. It worked well as a setup. It felt like they were sparring nice verbally. They played off each other well.
I'm glad MVP's getting some love on this podcast.
Yeah. I can give him some love. I quite liked him. He carried it for sure, but like, you know, it worked fine for me. I liked it.
All right. Well, that is the end of this episode of the Ring Rundown. We
Yeah, baby.
will be back in a month.
A whole time's just flying by.
We'll be back in a month in both recording time and airtime.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So next week we'll
Maybe.
watch Raw from July. Sorry, yeah, July 13th, 2009.
Ugh, makes me feel old. Maybe the first episode will even be up by then.
Maybe the first episode will be up by the time you're listening to this. Well, by the time you're listening to this, it will be. Yeah, it'll have to be. Maybe it'll
It'll
be
have
up.
to be.
Maybe it'll be up by the time we record. But yeah, so we'll see you then. Goodbye.
That's a podcast.